And Smackdown starts off with the Miz TV segment. And in this segment we had Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan, Kane and Randy Orton. And this segment, the first thing I noticed was, is it just me or does Daniel Bryan really need a haircut and to shave that beard off? Sooner or later he's going to turn into one massive hairball. And if this is going to go in the way I think it's going to go down, we don't really want a hairball as our future world champion or WWE champion, do we? I don't. But this segment became all about Daniel Bryan. And I know they're trying to put him over, make him the focus, rebuild him back up. But you don't really want every show, every week to be about Daniel Bryan. Because Kane eventually is going to have a feud storyline. Orton's going to have one. So yes, build Daniel Bryan up. But don't leave the others to have the leftovers or have nothing really going for them. But this segment went down with Daniel Bryan apologising for Orton, saying, you didn't really mean to attack me. Kane, you're the best tag team partner anyone can have. But then by the end, his mood's completely changed and he's gone back to being frustrated and just saying how none of them came out to help him, even though Bryan recently has been telling Kane to stay away. He's got this. And he's been taking up the Shield on his own. And Orton's just no help. So it went down. But the thing that came out from this segment, could this be the end of Team Hell No? There's a bit of story behind it. Like, this is a way to branch Daniel Bryan off to the main event. And for Kane to, whatever's going to happen to Kane. And Orton and Daniel Bryan from this got a tag team match from Theodore Long against the Shield for the main event of Smackdown. Not a bad Miz TV, except the main event did a lot for Daniel Bryan and also possibly the breakup of Team Hell No. The first match of the night just happened to be Chris Jericho versus Curtis Axel. And this was not too bad. The match was more focusing on the future of Chris Jericho and CM Punk. Because during the match, after a good few spots here and there from Chris Jericho taking out Axel having some moves here and there, Paul Heyman gets up on the announce table and says, "It's clobbering time!" And out comes no one. But we hear the music of CM Punk. That distracts Chris Jericho for Curtis Axel to do the cheap roll-up for the 1, 2, 3. Finally, we have Curtis Axel getting a pinfall instead of a count-out or a DQ kind of finish. Nicely done here. It definitely did the heel maneuver. Me and other people would like to see a heel get a clean pinfall over a champion or over a top guy in the company or over a face. Either way, maybe Curtis Axel has that coming his way, but just not yet. They're doing these cheap heel ways to finish matches. And as Chris Jericho walks up the ramp to leave, he decides to run back, give Curtis Axel a code breaker to finish the segment. I'm looking forward to seeing this whole continuation of how they're going to build up CM Punk and Jericho, even though I still have some doubt that Chris Jericho and CM Punk will happen. Curtis Axel's got another win over a champion or a main eventer, so not a bad match and did forward on some storyline. The match between Alberto Del Rio and Heath Slater doesn't even take place because it becomes one big fight between 3MB and Ricardo and Del Rio. But the best part of this is going to get given to Ricardo Rodriguez. After Alberto's taken the 3 members of 3MB outside the ring, Ricardo Rodriguez dives from the top rope down onto 3MB. And as Ricardo and Del Rio celebrate in the ring, we have Ziggler appear on the Titantron to announce that he's going to be dancing in front of Del Rio on Monday Night Raw. So the return of Ziggler, ready to hype up the match between the World Heavyweight Champion Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio. Not the best part of Smackdown, but at least it's hyping up Raw just a little bit by the return of Dolph Ziggler. I'm here to show the world. Now we have the match between Ryback and Kane. This match, the best spot is going to get given to Ryback. We have Ryback who picks up Kane like this, Mr. Muscle himself, and that he's picked up Mark Henry now. He's picked up Kane. I'm sure down the line he's going to be picking up more. Very good spot. But this ends how Ryback's matches recently have been finishing. He puts Kane through a table. But this match I would love to see happen if Ryback stayed as a tweener or a either heel or face, you know, that character he had before he turned to a heel, and Kane as the monster. But the WWE, when it comes to booking Kane as a monster, they just cannot keep it going, can they? But no. So Ryback puts Kane through a table to continue the hype for Ryback and the Cena match at Payback. There was a week where I said that Damien Sandow should have his own TV segment replacing The Miz's, instead of having two talk shows on one Smackdown. But after Damien Sandow's recent TV segments, I'm not quite sure that it's going to go down that well unless he steps up his game. Because this week we have Damien Sandow in the ring with something called Deep Blue, which is a TV screen. And there's a whole segment of him saying, I'm going to show you how great I am by beating this computer at a game of chess. Out comes Sheamus, because this is the feud that the WWE are giving us. The main event, Sheamus versus the guy who, yes, he's been against main eventers, but he's just not had the wins to back him up for this feud. But it ends with Sheamus promising that he could beat this game with one move. Ooh, one move game of chess. Let's see how he does it. Bro kick! Pushing that to a side, as soon as he said one move, we know what was coming. But the best thing was the WWE actually allowed the heel to become on top of the face as Damien Sandow went crazy on Sheamus. Slammed through his table that the computer was sitting on. Very good. Made Damien Sandow look good over Sheamus. But again, I just weren't very entertained with the segment itself. But it had a nice finish. Oh, and by the way, Fandango ends up beating Zack Ryder with The Miz on commentary. The thing with him on commentary, yes, you're showing the two number one contenders for the IC Championship together on a show, but nothing happened, did it, Miz? You just sat there saying stuff about Fandango and stuff. Great work. And now on to the main event. The one thing I picked up from this was it was great work from Daniel Bryan again, but I loved the bit of chemistry between him and Seth Rollins. Very good, very entertaining. If that becomes a singles feud somewhere down the line, I'm all for it. I think it'd be great to see, and that part built up to where, even though it was a tag match between Daniel Bryan and Orton versus The Shield, don't you miss when there's double teams? Like if Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan did a move together on a member of The Shield, like you had the Hardy Boys in the past. there'll be an opponent in the corner. You'd have someone crouched down on all fours in front of that opponent. And the other side of the ring, you'd have one of the Hardy Boys running across and leaping onto the opponent. I just think that somehow you should have, even if they are a random tag team put together, they should still do a maneuver together. But I guess with this whole Daniel Bryan and Orton not being meeting eye to eye, they're not going to do double team moves together. It's just something I miss. The match ends with Rollins ramming Orton into the corner and Daniel Bryan running up, drop kicking Orton in the face, so that takes out Orton. Rollins goes up to roll Daniel Bryan up for the 1, 2, 3, but you know, with Daniel Bryan's good maneuvers, he turns into the yes lock, and as he's locking it in, Dean Ambrose runs in to make the save. And luckily, because of Daniel Bryan's push that he's getting, just like on Raw, he takes out all members of the Shield before getting RKO'd from Randy Orton. Is that to make a heel turn because of how over Daniel Bryan's getting recently? Maybe. But are people ever going to go back to booing Randy Orton? Please share your thoughts on the main event and the rest of Smackdown in the comment section below. And now I'm going to go off and show the world just who really is the best in the world.